Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For tracks, obviously. On the lot.
He became steel resistant.
Hello and welcome back to another live podcast. You're with Ivan. You're going live with Ive on this Sunday. What is it? The 7th of the 9th, 2025. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Today was a big one for me. I've got, obviously my parents I had to go and visit. Then I had to go and visit the in-laws. So I've been quite busy today and I'm sure a lot of you have been doing the same. I really hope that the power stays on. We've had a few flickers because it's really windy here in Melbourne. So massive 100k winds here, rain on and off all day. It's just chaotic weather. I tried to go for a bit of a walk between visits today just to walk off some of that food and drink, but the wind was just horrendous, man, horrendous. So I hope it hasn't been like that for everyone else, but yeah, Melbourne's copping some crap weather today, so bear with me hopefully, and the Wi-Fi has been playing up a little bit. Let's see how it goes. And tonight is another jam-packed session. Tonight I'm not going to go through topics. I'm not going to go through the industry news because, better than that, I actually have a guest. So I'm going to have a guest joining me tonight. So I do mix it up a little bit. Every now and then I'll get a guest live. Other times I'll do all the other, formalities, I suppose that's what we call them. But I have a guest. So I'll do a couple of things and then I'll invite that guest on. But before I do that, a couple of shout outs just to say thank you for joining. So we've got Janie, Brenton Purdle, TNS Earthworks, Parminder, Jacko's Earthmoving, Grant Benji Bartram, Drew Excavations, Mr. Cash Jobs Only himself, saying Happy Father's Day. Thanks, young fella. On Site Civil, who else? Hamish Cans, Caitlin, RS Contracting, who else? Jacko's is saying hello. Emon 1, is that right? Cronin Equipment Hire, who else? JS Rural, Earthworks, Coastwide Mini Excavations, M. Attard, how are you, legend? Vinetech, man, I don't think I'm going to get to read all these. Grant Benji Bartram saying he just bought himself his first tipper and he's putting her to work straight away. Legend, well done, man. Good on you. Good on you for doing that. Dirt Effect Earthworks is here. Man, a whole bunch of people. Sorry, I'm not going to get a chance to read everyone. National Plan, Jenna Troy, I don't know, heaps of people. Coleman as well, A1 Plumbing. All right, that's it. I'll stop there. And I can see that my guest has joined as well. Awesome. Really looking forward to this chat. And I'm sure a lot of you are as well, because I have been posting it up during the week to let you know that it's happening, and vice versa, so as a guest. Just a quick reminder, these episodes are all recorded, so if you do happen to miss part of it, or something happens and you have to leave or whatever, or if you want to share it, which is another good thing, you can always get it on Patreon. So Patreon members do get to see it first. Then you get to see it on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple later on as well. So they're the platforms where this goes out to. Make sure you go and listen, share the shit out of this stuff. We're growing, baby. Earthworks Hub is growing. I'll tell you what, every Sunday we're getting more and more people watching the live session, getting more and more viewers during the week. I'm doing a lot more guest interviews during the week. You would have seen Brett Comiskey. That episode dropped this week. Another one with Jimmy from the Dirt Cartel in WA, that came out. I've been posting up heaps of stuff, even some previous podcasts where I did with Starbucks and that. So what I realized was I wasn't actually putting up enough little clips of all those podcasts that I did. So now I'm just hitting them hard and putting it all out there. We're going to go big, man. Let's do this. Let's do it. ADM Civil saying Happy Father's Day. Yes, vice versa. Moba's joined as well. Very well. Very good. So Moba, speaking of sponsors, a quick shout out to our two main platinum sponsors, which are Earthmoving Warehouse and Breeze Vegas Melbourne Tractors. And another shout out, which you just saw then, Moba's joined us, is to all our other sponsors, Moba, a Network Finance, Diggerlid, Digger, Goddings, a Record Time, Plastube, Moja, a Philips Plant Hire, Bearer Solutions, Komatsu, and Stucky. There you go. All right. And Record Time, we actually did some tutorials this week. So we filmed a couple of tutorials on how to use certain modules inside the Record Time software. So for anyone that is considering to use that software for the business, you can go in and use those tutorials to work out how to do stuff on there. I'll tell you what, man, fantastic bit of software to make your life easier. So look out for those tutorials coming out soon on Patreon and YouTube. I can hear one of my neighbors hammering. I reckon something's fallen from the wind and he's hammering something back together. Maybe the part of the fence collapsed. I don't know. I can hear it. So apologies if you can hear that knocking. All right, what else? That's it. I'm not gonna go through listings of the week and all that stuff tonight. Tonight's gonna be, let's get straight into it with my guest. First of all, let me introduce him. Let me get him on. And guys, I present the Duffman, Peter Duff. How are you, man?
Great, I'm great, and this is a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah,
What you're doing down there, what you're doing down there is awesome, mate. So I think you're right on the spot with getting the networks together. Everything on your webpage is doing what it's supposed to, and I think there's been a big gap for that for a long time, and it's great to see somebody out there who's real. You're the real deal, man. I could have chatted to you all day the other day when we had a quick chat. So
Yeah,
let's bring it on.
Yeah, I love it, man. Thank you. I love the vibe, man. Thank you. Thanks for the pump up. You know what? And vice versa, man. I said that word a couple of times tonight, but that's my new word for tonight. Vice versa. every time I talk to someone about machines or something, they're like, "Oh, you got to ask the Duffman." Or if I'm, talking about some new product, and yeah, the Duffman, the Duffman. He's the guy to see. So
we love talking about it. We're 24/7 around here, mate.
That's it, man. That's it. Well, you know what? I'll let you do the talk. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I think about myself. Well, I'm just attracted to it. Like I'm somebody who, as a little kid, wanted to be an adult real early. I just wanted to be 21 when I was 11. I happened to be in a position where we had machinery on our farm where we lived as kids growing up, and they were owned by a big company in town, and they used to leave them there on weekends. And I'd come home from boarding school, and I'd help myself to the grader. Once I worked out that cat key was the same, man, I have to say that was a naughty little habit that I had that couldn't go away. And I don't think anything's changed since then. I still feel just as excited about getting into a new machine as what I did when I was 11. It's been a big journey for me. It's across old countries and all over Australia. I've got to do what I wanted and just chase the flame and look for jobs that were, for me, I don't have kids and stuff like that. So I've been able to have a little bit more play and take some more risk in the industry. I've been through every aspect of it, from mining to agriculture to civil to back to civil, and just been able to play the game as the ebbs and flows go, because I think being flexible in earth moving is something that's really handy. I think it got to a pinnacle for me where I sort of, made it to an operator demonstrator with Hastings, the dealer, the cat dealer, and, got into the cat research center and used to do lots of work there with autonomy. Just that sort of place is where I found, I never want to be that guy who went and did round and round the circle all day. Just like, there had to be something in it but for me. So, we've done great things in this country. Some are good and, big things, and some are good and some are bad. So I've been on part of all of that. And now I think we're at a bit where my next little bit of career is just grabbing all this incredible network that I've made over the years, and 30 years now. And I just want more of them. I want to be that dirty jobs guy who comes to your place and we dig together, anywhere in the world. You call me up and I get on a plane and we just go on, you just throw me in the hot seat and we'll do something random. So I'll drive anything.
Yeah. So
that's about me, mate. I'm total tractor nut, and I find myself at home with your mob. We're all the same. We just get on a level and we just say you're our peeps. Most of the time we've all been away from home working, lived at work and on the FIFO stuff, and man, you build relationships, and it's just the best. Literally, that's between that and the machines, that's where it's at for me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, and also after a little chat the other day, it looks like you've worked in numerous places. So maybe give us a bit of a rundown of some of the places where you've worked. I know one of them was the cat dealer, was it?
Yeah, cat dealers. Yeah, I've had great jobs. So I'm very much freelance like yourself. So, I worked for Tees for sort of 10 years and chased the mining thing, in my 20s and 30s. I started right in agriculture as a teenager. My first job was ridiculous. I took a job 2,500 k's away when I was 15. I just got on a train and went to a 3.5 million acre property on the border of Queensland and Northern Territory, and I learned a lot of hard lessons there. It was a tough gig to start at. Don't do that, kids. Take somewhere closer and do something easier. Because survival out there was hard, and so my boss had to teach me hard lessons, and I was a little shit sometimes. And I was a bad kid. I was like a lot of kids I meet in this industry who just didn't want to sit still and didn't want to be orderly and obedient. That's boring. That's boring shit. We want to do more, and this industry is perfect for it because the variety of jobs that you can get now is so vast, and it's the kids. The world is their oyster at the moment. So it's a good time to be new and coming into the game. And I think that's what I'd like to focus on is bringing those kids back to somehow the people who are talking about coding and doing computer sciences and all those sort of things. They got all the kids. Now we look around the jobs and it's just, it's an aging workforce, and we're just not bringing them in just like we should. I think we need to go to the schools and we need to get kids at 16. It wasn't that long ago, they were literally, they were running a war for us. They went to World War II, they went halfway across the planet, and they ran battalions and fleets of ships and squadrons of airplanes at 19, 17, even younger. And today we treat them like idiots. And I hate that. It's probably why I don't have kids. I can handle having to treat them like they're stupid. They're at the peak of their power, and I think we should be accessing it every day of the week. It's a resource that we're sort of not tapping into. So I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of business owners who I talk to this about all the time, and they're super passionate. So I think it's time we all got together and made something happen. I think it's part of this network thing. I think it's it's a group of people we have, and we're all sort of motivated towards the same thing without even saying it. So this is why it's pleasurable to meet guys like you, Ivan, who are just out there every day, mate, just keeping it real. And I think that's the main thing is the keeping it real thing and just keeping it down to earth, just be like everybody else. So we're all the same,
Yeah, and I think like you mentioned then that you've sort of seen that it's not I don't know, maybe and this is a conversation I've had with a lot of people is the red tape and the bureaucracy killing the opportunity for young people to learn like what everyone else used to. You can't even have kids on site. You can't do anything anymore.
It's so bad. It's I don't know where. I'll have a shot right here, and I'm going to go to your workplace health and safety people and go to your HR people. Tell them to sit down and leave us alone because they've been handling it for a long time now, and it's a failure. It's a complete and utter failure across the board. It's holding the entire industries back and small business and medium-sized businesses, and it's got to stop. And it's to try and get somebody trained on site now is just a joke, and it's got to stop. So I know that's the temperature of the industry that I get feedback from, and I think we're all on the same page there. So good time now to go loud about it. Otherwise, there will be no change if you don't step up. You're going to get some people who want to take some Karens out there, not going to be happy about this. But I make no joke about it. We've got AI. HR are using AI to scan people for jobs. And they don't this is the ticketing system doesn't need to exist if these people aren't there because it's just for them. It has no relevance in our world out in the field. So I think it's time for a real change there too, because people like me and there's training things that we do like with Reese Cooper Civil. We've been doing it for years. We do it for free because there's just no funding allocated for people like us to go and run really successful training days. And I tell you, man, I've done all sorts of training. I've never seen anything more successful than what we do there. And the feedback we get is just top class. It's just somewhere but we don't crap on about safety or anything. We just go and focus on what people need to know and get it for them, and then do what you do, mix people in and network them. And the training goes on and on and on. They train each other then, and they help each other. And, we get bosses come looking for employees coming. Well, there's no money for that, because this joke of a ticketing system has stolen it all. So I suppose, it's a big shot at them, but I think it's time. It's time to bury the hatchet. It's not a legal requirement to have a ticket. This is all bullshit. Come get a letter from your mum and she'll say, that she's seen you driving safely and efficiently. It's the same legal way as this stupid operator ticket. And so I just think that we've got to stop the madness and get busy on getting skills back to the industry because it's too painful. I don't know where it goes after this. Everybody's had those really difficult experiences on site lately where skills deficiencies are problematic, and there's just we're trying our best to train people every day of the week out in the field. You can't get across them all unless we do something serious. There's lots of people out there who are thinking the same. So, reach out to me. Maybe it's time. Let's make that change and get some of these training camps happening. Do the weekends. We can do big weekends. We get, it doesn't have to be just Caterpillar. We'll do all the brands, bring on, I just know people from Hitachi and everybody's reached out. They're all saying the same thing privately to me. So I think it's a great opportunity just right now to jump out and say, hey, look, I literally am super keen on this. There's other people. We need people of all types too. Some people to help us with funding, some people to help organise and manage the admin and all that sort of stuff. People to help us film and do all that sort of stuff, because that's important too. So your tutorials and stuff like that are just right up the alley, mate. It's like all the experienced dudes, all of them I know now are stepping up to the plate and just like without having to be asked, helping making those tutorials and just little tidbits that, just every bit helps. So, kudos to all those dudes, including yourself, Ivan. So, yep,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what
that's
I
good.
think about, and that's a big shot at the industry. But I think we need to change that across all the mining and civil and construction industries. I think that's very much the biggest problem that most of us have in our workplace. And we can get back busy. Like what these machines will do is incredible. We're not even scratching the surface yet, and so
Yeah.
we need to change.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree fully. So yeah, so at the moment you are, I see it does say on your profile that you do operator training and stuff as well.
I
And
do
you are,
it.
yep,
Yep.
yep.
I've had a
Right.
bit of a break from it because it's something that it's hard, man. I just don't know how dudes do it. Well, I just don't see any good training at the moment. There's nothing going next gen. I don't think we've even got there yet. It's a combination of
Yeah,
other things. I'm getting closer to understanding it, but it's you don't, if you're training how you used to train for these new smart iron machines, then nothing's happening. It's
yeah,
just I don't know what's going on, but we need to get deeper and things like using a mobile phone. We've still got people crying about that on site, seeing an operator. If you haven't got your mobile phone out on one of these brand new machines, searching Google continuously, trying to work out how to use it, you're not even using it. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. So we've got such a gap between what the people in the office are thinking we're doing and what's really going on and what's possible. There's three different things.
yeah.
That's where I'd
I
like to
think,
bring my fire.
yeah. And speaking of training and using machines, and the other day I think we were talking about how a lot of people don't even use half the features on all these new machines. What's your
It's
opinion on that? Yeah,
Look, I get around a lot of companies and into like the next gen is where, that's really where I get a huge amount of my perspective from. I had the first one in the world. Literally, that was my job when I got to Hastings. My first day at the office, they delivered the top secret next gen to the back door, and we didn't even know how to get it off the float at that stage because there was no keys for the first time. We didn't even know that. So and so from that point, I've seen probably what was the first ever bit of smart iron to ever hit the world, and saw the evolution of it, saw all the mistakes. I think we've made a lot of mistakes in marketing it and getting the information, what the capabilities of this thing are. The only thing you heard was these productivity, claims, and they, those claims that were worth every bit of it, and here we are now. We look at Komatsu has started to catch up very successfully to, there's very good competition in that market where, 7 years down the track and Komatsu have been a couple of years on the floor with this IMC 2.0 stuff and really smacking it back to them. They're two very competitive companies now again. Watching both of them sort of making the same mistake. You drive the new dozers. Komatsu put out. I couldn't find a single video I had to do 700 hours in the book, mate. And I'm 30 years in and a former global trader. Like I don't know what Joe Blow's going to do to try and understand how unbelievable, that thing is. You start setting up, triangulated topographical surveys and running that as your live surface to control your machine. It's mind bending, but it's doable. I tell you, again, we go from CAT's 45% productivity jump back in 2018. So they'll do that again at 65% Komatsu now. So that's over 100% leap forward in productivity in just a short space, of less than a decade.
yeah,
How we keep up, it's amazing. And autonomy is not going to take our jobs. We're pretty safe here. So, because you won't be man plus machine. That technology plus man in the cab. I just don't think there's going to be a system out there that'll do better. It'll do safer work sometimes, for remote work and stuff like that. But effectively, in a civil construction area, it's too fluid and autonomy would too difficult. It's good at repetitive task stuff, and it can have it, to be honest with you.
yeah,
And we'll take all the tech and the smarts of it in the civil world, and we'll build any shape you want. Any
yeah,
shape. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
So
Job that stuff, man. Because I'm the same
No, no. And I
available.
think that's now with next gen stuff, rather than there's too much to try and teach a new student. So what you do is you focus on machine basics, and then GPS basics, and then once you got those two things sorted and sold, he can follow or she can follow the green and red dots on the side of the screen. Once you're doing that, then we can start to, okay, this is where you find the information to go to the next level. So there are sites, Caterpillar and Komatsu are both guilty of having these multiple incognito sites that nobody knows about. They should, Channel One and is Cat's one. There's also a cat training site, which, again, I haven't heard anybody ever talk about. There's 45. I think I've got 45 cat sites saved in my list, which are, got great content, but that's how much, we're talking about this smart iron goes right from the operator's seat all the way now to the back of the office. And so it's a bigger subject than it used to be. The data thing is all part of it now, and it should be recognized.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's go back a little bit. So I sort of jumped around a bit. Sorry about this, guys.
Oh, good for that.
So excited, man. I'm like, what do I ask you first? Yeah. So what about, let's go back a bit. So you said a cat, you got to actually play around with the first next gen and all that. What was that like? And like what progressed?
It was the most perfect spot I've ever been in my life. This is like exactly for me, like I felt like, nobody was going to put harder work in it to work it out than me. So effectively, it came with barely any manuals. It came with a Trimble system. That was the first time I'd seen that. I remember looking inside the next gen excavator, was a 323, and opening the side door of the pump house, and just my head just about blew off. I thought it was going to be more complicated, and it was less complicated. And it was due to this to the philosophy of the Asian design team and the Japanese guys who designed it. America had a progress or category with taking their bread and butter, and bring them to the market where they were going to do things that were revolutionary, which was what Smart Iron was going to do. It was just who was going to make the first move, and Cat did it. So by moving to Japan for this design element, they really rethought and they moved away from old mistakes. And I would be guilty of saying I didn't know that, being a real yellow blood, I didn't know that there were so many things wrong with Cat until I got in some new Komatsus lately, and a few things I didn't even see that I got my Cat blinkers on. But that change in scene of going through philosophy of design happened just in reverse with Komatsu. And I don't think everybody's talked about that yet, where they took the D71 dozer, went to North America from Asia to get designed because they needed a new look at what they were building it. And so they got new engineers in a new location in a different society with different culture and different philosophies to influence how they rebuilt that machine. And it works. It was just a remarkable thing to see both companies sort of switch that philosophical leading or the cultural leaning towards the way they do things. And both of them have been very successful at changing stuff. So yeah, it's very watching that happen and progress out of the next gen office from the first day, and then having to go and work it out on the demo pit. There was nobody to tell me. There was nobody to ask. I literally didn't even get off the float. We had to make a phone call to Japan on the first day. Like literally, we couldn't even start it. So from that grind all the way to delivering to the first customers, a guy like Rich Cooper, legend, total technology smart iron freak, who right from day one totally committed to the product and to the scene of let's have what whole sites now that are no survey pegs anyway, which is only scraper drivers were worried about that. So they all got lost as soon as they did that. So but everybody else is going, this is amazing. We can turn up and now look where we are. We can just rock up to sites and it's just all remotely installed. All the maps are ready to go on my when I get there, straight off the phone network. And that evolution has been for guys like Reese and that, and there's heaps of them out there that I've met that have been just guys who they're so modest and they don't go and blow their own trumpet about it, but they're in sheds doing remarkable things, plotting their way to being the champions of the industry. And they're so busy doing it, they don't turn up to gala nights and stuff like that. You'll see them in the pit and they'll be scratching their head and they'll be doing these ones all day. And that's how they are. And they're my people. I just like, there's some great ones. Simon Zammit up outside of Mackay is a genius who, just an ideas man. Don Mearns is another guy. He's a guy who got me into Earthworks at Mearns Highest out of Swanbank. So he was good mates with my dad, and he took me out of Swanbank Mine when I was about 6. That was it. I was gone, like, gone in the head. Whatever I saw on that haul road going down into the pit with the 777s running past our work, that's all I ever thought about from that day on. Just mining and big trucks and big machinery, and I didn't have anyone in my family to get me there. So Donnie took me there, but he's an innovator. He's a guy who, when I went to him as a kid, he had D11s pulled apart in the shed, just like redesigning them and turning them into monsters, and then putting them back out and doing monster things, doing big projects and covering a lot of land. Australia's a big place, and it's amazing to have had a good career of spent plenty of time with just these modest, awesome individuals, and it just makes me know capability we've got as this country. To see where we are at the moment, it's just so frustrating, because I know I've seen it. So many of us have seen this in action. What our people are capable of. We can build anything now. It's just who's controlling that building and where all the good jobs are coming. When we're doing the right things, we're doing amazing things, and we just need more of those smart, snowy dam hydro projects and things like that have changed the whole country in one go. Rather than some of the stuff I've been caught up in, some of the wind farms and stuff like that I've seen. I'd happily tell you that I just don't think they're the right direction. I think we can do better for all the money we spend on it. So we've got great people out there, great companies, some machinery and the engineering of what we do now across the world it's just the sky's the limit. Getting involved in better things and really, I don't have to follow the money so much anymore. I'm sort of getting old, and I don't have, like I said, I don't have those kids, and I'm not really. It's about the experience for me, and every day of the week I can just get up, and I don't have to. My furrows of worry don't burn me down. Let's go, boys. Let's get it on the dig again. This is what we do, and it's a really sweet spot to be the place I'm in now. But and I would just say they're guys who started their career or looking for it. Mastery it's a sweet spot, and the guys out there, I know some legends on here: Marty Matinga, Corey Irish, like that. These dudes, they know what we're talking. You get on and just walk into a site. You can do anything you're asked to do, and it's a pleasure. It's just your world turns into this really nice experience where you're just always on the positive end of the kick, and I don't know, there's nothing better than that, I think, in life, when you become a really valuable person to society. And we recognise that, but maybe our remuneration and our wages haven't recognised that for a long time, which is another point that I think we should touch on. And it's another one that's a hot one around the industry, and just how the rates have stayed at such stagnating spot for decades, for 2 decades. I would say there hasn't been a pay rise for operators or people, fitters and that in our world. I'd say actually in mining, it looks like they're getting less than what we're used to when I was up there. So
what's your theory on that one?
I don't know why. Money's a really strange thing nowadays. Sort of, how do you judge something when it's not even pegged to anything? There's nothing even to measure it to anymore. It's sort of an elusive concept. That's why I'm glad I got to drop it a bit in my mind, because my advice to people at the moment is, if chasing money and stop on in a bank or something, it's not if that's your goal, it's not a great place to be at the moment, because money ain't worth shit, and it's getting less every day of the week. And there's a whole heap better experience in life that you'll get by. You can't buy a better value. Going devoting your time to help somebody move forward or progress or elevate them or show. My girl Jane, she's on here tonight. I'm up till 1 a.m. every night. Get in and work and give yourself to whatever you're doing all day, young fellas, and work your ass off. There's no special talents. That's bullshit. You just wake up and your advantage is get up earlier before everybody else. Being there after it. Get out and work and do the right thing. Look for opportunities that are morally and ethically sound, because I think right now in history, it'd be a standout. What the jobs will be a standout, the results will be a standout. Yeah. That's a better place to be in this world, I think. So, I'm encouraging that every day of the week, is just seeing the leaders get out there and just start sharing their information and sharing that connection and putting in the work that might. Yeah. But it's when that dude's like now. There's a kid that come to one of our training courses. He was 11 when he first came, one of the very first next gen training course. He's 16 now. He's got a job. I'm pretty sure he's still working for Reese he's killing it. And his older brother was the same, that sort of stuff. Reese puts the time, I know, and there's heaps of, I'm just using him as an example, but you watch these guys put the effort into their blokes. And you were talking last week about keeping staff. That's where it's at. It's about giving. You can keep staff. It doesn't cost a cent. It won't cost a cent. It will just cost your effort and your empathy and your curiosity and your mateship too, which is super important in our work. So, if you do those things, I think you connect with people who want to stay and they become committed. And when things get a little bit tougher or repetitive, like some of the young fellas were saying, they can be sort of the bits, and it is in our industry. The reality is when you watch somebody get out in a machine, it's not what they dreamed. It's this repetitive backwards and forwards, or you got to be a machine. Yeah. And so you just got to pick them back up and say, hey, mate, it's okay. It's all right. This is part of the marathon. Teach them how to get through that. And don't throw them on something else. They need to do this. This is the grind of the job, and working out it's a marathon and stuff like that. That's, helping them get through the hard stuff is how you keep good employees. But it will take your ears and it will take patience and it will take time. And that's all. It won't, no money. But that's how you get tight. That's what, if you talk about tight crew, that's what we want, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's it.
You don't need to buy it.
Yeah. How do you keep yourself like loving the industry? Like, what do you do? Like, do you swap machines and work for different people to keep it interesting?
Yeah, definitely. That's been a big advantage. I also have done a lot of just short-term contracts, like all stuff that's fixed contracts. So I go in. For me, I always want to get into innovation. So I like forward thinking. So for me, big breaks in my life were sort of getting to do some testing work for like big projects like the original autonomy project for a large multi-class loading tool. So P&H, Shovels, CSIRO and the Queensland University got together more than a decade and a half ago in a big quarry north of Brisbane here. And I just got my tickets in that ultra class stuff, and I was slaving away up in central Queensland on sort of the big diggers, 996s and 994s and Hitachi, all of them. And I spotted this job that was near home, and I'm like, hell yeah! And it's research and development. So my job was to go and be the test pilot there on this electric face shuttle that basically it was a cruisy job. I had 3 trucks a day, but there was tasks. It was repetitive tasks. And my first real good taste of that test and develop and research end of it, where how we get to the next level of machinery. Yeah. So that's a real passion for me, sort of personally. That's sort of where I like to take, the idea of making up the next technology that goes into the machinery. That's like a dream for me. That's literally, it's probably been a dream for 25 years now. It's for me. Yeah. But rare as hen's teeth, those sort of jobs. So popping them as it is, there's a bit of a delay there. So I was just going to say, the real passion for me is getting into autonomy. At first, I wasn't, I might have been a bit hesitant on autonomous machinery. I thought, I felt like a lot of people do. They might be taking our jobs and stuff, and going into it and understanding a bit more about what type of jobs they're taking and why we want them in there, and which ones will actually stay was interesting too. So we did at the CAT Research Centre, we pretty well developed the underground stuff for the Australian mining and New Guinea mining scene, which was AD60s and 2600 bog loaders. Those two both now have been done. They're very special sort of projects because they can't run on GPS. So there was another little twist to autonomy that makes it even harder. Ground is hard, and working just as a seat jockey for some geniuses at the CAT Research Centre was a real privilege for me. And those jobs have really been the markers in my career.
Yeah. So sounds like you've been everywhere and done everything, man. Yeah.
I've never stopped. I feel sorry for my girl because 24/7 with me, and you'll be dead. Yeah, and there's plenty of time to lay down and do nothing. I appreciate life. I try to remind myself continuously how lucky we are living in a country like Australia. It's got problems at the moment like no other place in the world. But at the end of the day, they're first world problems. Eating and getting a shower and having people to love you is another big advantage. So we end up with a lot of blokes who come from tough backgrounds in our industry, and you try to make that make a space for. I love a young kid who's got his mullet and he's a little shithead, and I see him down the supermarket, having a fight with his mum, and I'd like to turn up with a black van and drop a bag over his head and drop him in and say, "Oh man, you'll be a scraper driver next week. I'll fix you. I'll keep you out of the big house for the rest of your life." We do that, that's what this job can do. It's for anybody. It doesn't discriminate at all. We don't need discrimination mandates in our business, because it's just if you can get on and have a crack, you can be an operator. That's why it's really frustrating not to be able to get new starters in. I've got Will. He was probably on here tonight. I haven't seen him come on, but Will is. Last week we talked about him. I still, unfortunately, for him, I haven't had the time to go and chase up a couple of the leads. If anybody does have any work and looking for a dude who's a 25-year-old ready to have a go, just a new starter, reach out to Will Pryor, and I'll put a link up here in the comments. Get him on. He's at just south of Brisbane, between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. Dudes like him, a dime a dozen. Just at the moment, it's hard to get. Like you say, how do you get a new guy on site? Where's the financial end of being able to afford to train somebody in a workplace anymore? What happened to that? Why isn't it a priority anymore? What can we do to change that? Big questions. I think we got the people to do it right here. It's probably enough people I know on this little chat that it's done. It's a done deal. It's just like literally that connection to the powers that be that allow it and don't allow it from high places. We just need to go tap that down a little bit.
I see people are saying they'll turn up next week. Yeah, there's already people volunteering. There you go.
Literally, it is like it's ready to go. It's a system that's ready to go. It's just finding a couple of people who can get some funding to be able to survive, to run it for a start, and we'll take it. It's a national thing. You can cut and paste this around the country, and anybody can do it. The people who know how to drive the machines should be training it are the blokes who operate it every day. I just don't know how I can do training very well, successfully, to a level without having to drop 700 hours into a book of a bulldozer every now and again, because that's what the D71 took. It literally was massive hours during the day, and come home and had the simulator for the GPS and the manuals and all night. But there was nobody. I couldn't find that information anywhere. I ring the hotline and I'm asking questions that the lady on the other end didn't know. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is new. Okay, all right, let's work it out. We need to get the smart iron thing happening, and it's going to be one-on-one with the guy who's probably on that machine usually, and he can be at his place and his boss's yard, and you come to the training day there, just so different. The Reese has been running. So it just takes a little bit of commitment from the owners to be able to provide the machinery, because that's a big ask. The space, and then on tap, you'll find a resource of
it is. There's no better feeling. Like I said, even last week.
You said it last week. Yeah, definitely.
There's when I see that labourer that used to watch me and help me out, and I see him jump in and start getting better and better, and then customers start requesting him, and there's no better feeling, man. Just watch.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That is like, that's money for me. That is literally inspiration, money. It's the metaphysical high five. When you hit the golf ball, it just hits that perfect ting. Sound. Thank you, life. That's how it's supposed to be. I think that's a message from the world. If there is a God or whatever, that's how he lets you know that you're on track, man. This is what you're supposed to do. That little tingle feeling that you got. It's not the dopamine you got from the 30 follows or whatever. It's that stuff, the real deal.
Nothing better, man. And then I remember like that operator, the same guy, one of the ones I was thinking of, used to send me photos of all his jobs. Like, what do you think?
I love that. Everybody sends me photos. I just like, it's getting sort of hard to actually keep up anymore. Like, I feel like sometimes I get a bit dizzy when I go into my messages. So anybody who I work full time and I try to keep up. I want to talk to everybody. I would have every conversation with every person that sends me a message, and I love it. So and updates, I love. I'm trying to make content that I just want to see, and I think
definitely, man, definitely. You know what? You mentioned the D71 before, the Komatsu D71. What's your opinion on that machine, man? What do you think of it?
I think it's the best machine. I will admit it's the best machine available in construction at the moment. It's the most flexible. It's probably the biggest leap in productivity you'll get across any of the classes. It'll do everything from the finest finest millimeter work. I mean, you could put millimeter grade controls on it easy as, and it would kill it. And you can even do it. It's just the way it approaches, and it's so flexible to be able to set up and fine tune it for whatever particular work you're doing. So, like we were talking about last week with options and types of attachments and stuff you get. In a sense, the Smart Iron brings it all within the computer, and your CPU is what you can manage your traction and how it delivers to the ground. Your crawl mode, we were doing stuff down the Gold Coast. There was literally millimeter precision, stunning. Like it's a machine when I take it to jobs. I love how the clients come up to me and they're just like, fuck, I love you, and I love this machine on my job. And I'm like, yes, this is life. Yes, there's a good place when people say that when you go to work, and that machine is a big part of it. But like I said, how accessible it is yet to be seen for me. And guys like Ashton and that, who deal a lot more with the on-hands training and seeing it every day and see it roll out, would be able to tell you a little bit more about that. But it was hard, and there was no information about it. So if anybody at Komatsu or Cat or any of these manufacturers, Trimble, Topcon, we need to make videos. Get on to me. I'll do it. We'll make it happen. I'll go and get your best customers to make it. They're my people, and we can go and we'll make them, because they've got to come out continuously, because every 3 months it gets updated. And I know that they can't do it, because it would take 3 months to get approvals inside of one of these companies to actually get a video to start making it, by the time it's over. And that's a big problem, to be honest with you. Hey, let's just cut the BS and just, we'll go and make it. We don't care. We'll do it. We just need just a little bit of the opportunity to throw some stuff at us that'll help us get it done. Yeah. I'd love to do that as a job. I'll just put myself out there, people.
So would you say, you've obviously done some work with Cat, done some stuff now on the Komatsu and that. Would you say you're a Cat or a Komatsu man, or not really? Not one.
Hey, look,
one or the other.
Look, I know Cat systems so deeply, it would be hard to walk away from that. There's just something I know about Cat, but once you know it, you're just like, okay, right. What happens in the background with product support and the learning curve of products, and it's not new to them. This is why they're a hallmark, is because when you go and buy parts, it's really important nowadays. If you've got old scrapers or older machinery from earlier, where you relied on physical part books. Now the updating of all the parts in the background, you can go back to F model scrapers from the 90s. They're still working at sourcing better part updates and things to repair that thing that kept breaking on it all the time. There's always going to be an Achilles heel on every design. There's 22,000 part numbers to a twin bow scraper. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. So parts get updated, and that's why they keep running. I've just been hanging around CEC. We grew up on those scrapers, man. Like, they were in the 90s, and those things are still profitable today. And it's because they continuously maintain them. They on top of updated parts and stuff like that. SIS 2.0, the database is brilliant. But in the background, all of those parts are so well. You can go and find a new method, a new set of parts, numbers. Diagrams now with the new stuff is 3D CAD models that you can get on your app on the phone and troubleshoot with these incredible AR apps, and where you can tear the skin off the machine, but nobody knows how to use them yet. Nobody at the deals know how to use it yet. Right, that's the problem. There's just too much to know, and unless you're a psychopath like me, who I'm so fascinated. When I got to inside got my big pass to get online, my security code, I just went straight to the guys who make all the apps, and I just went, get me on your beta stuff. I want to be in when SIS 2.0 was coming out. I got on it real early and just made sure, seeing that curve of how things are developed is so important to me. I just think that's how you can really find out how things are. So, Cat's systems have really got me. But Komatsu, I'll look at it. It's maintenance-wise. Okay, here's something else I could share with you. There's been a big change in how businesses run. So in the old days, people, you buy a Caterpillar machine, and it's an investment, and in that investment, you end up with an asset at the end of it. And so as you build your earthmoving business in the 80s and 90s and early thousands, you're acquiring assets, grinding away and paying them off. And now there's new types, down in Melbourne. Dundrums were a very early starter in this type of business model where they started working with Komatsu with rental gear and having it, and all of them, Volvo do it as well, where where you're getting the stuff on site and just renting it, and your costs are very fixed and locked in. But at the end of it, you've got no asset. You hand it back at the end of it. There's other ways. There's all sorts of different deals you can do with it, but effectively that's the bread and butter of it. So seeing that change, and I wonder how that changes my opinion, because owning the cat was just like, it was like a solid asset that you could own that it didn't really. Its depreciation was far less. So I could talk about all the different ins and outs of it. There's things that they've done with removing nomenclature to keep, so you can update them continuously. So you can take your older model now and put the new CPUs and stuff in it, and it'll still work. And that's genius. See, Trimble moving to subscription based. So you're the little guy. You might be a chance to be able to just get that GPS on your machine for the job, and then it's a fixed cost, and then you get, at the end of it, you can hand it back. And so that new business model is got pros and cons, and I'm not sure where I sit on the side of the fence yet. So hey, look, I realized I care way too much about machinery. When I had I bought my first truck, I built it, hand built it, and then so like putting somebody else on it was hard. So don't be a business owner if you'd like that. Go and be a collector. I'll come back if I get rich one day. That's collector's mindset, not a great businessman. Knowing the difference is huge. So that's as far as I'm concerned, that's a big change in the industry that makes that question very difficult to answer for me. Yeah. I love them both, and I like spreading myself. I like knowing what I didn't know. That's half a knowledge.
I like that.
Yeah, that literally is. If I would only just be a tribalist if I was all cat all the time. And I think they've heated the market up with next gen in 2018, and from that point, we're seeing the bull rush. Everybody's just trying to keep up, and some of them are. And so I'd say in the next decade, we're going to see some remarkably cool stuff coming out. That's what we do. We get to drive it. So that's what a cool freaking job.
Yeah, it is. It is. Tell me a little bit. So you've obviously worked in a lot of different places. Let's talk electric machines. Have you used an electric machine, and what's your opinion on that?
Not just electric shovels is the only place I've seen fully electric, and the rest of it doesn't. I think really the answer's been there. The best machines I've known for my whole career have been diesel electric. That's that hybrid system. I'm thinking Lieberherd, sort of the big stuff, 2350s, the big ultra-class loader. I remember the first time I drove one of those over Blackwater, it nearly blew my head off. I was just like, nobody had prepared my mind for how nifty this thing was compared to a 994. It was like, wow, this thing can motor. Like the direct drive, that torque, instant torque was just mind-bending to me. So that was the start of it. And then I got into sort of Lieberherd, had the 996s and that sort of stuff. They were also just a class above. They were a better machine that you drop your number of parts and that sort of stuff. A big advantage when you're remote work. Evan was another one, the original load tracker that came out. But it was a hit and miss. I have to say, I've come across a lot of customers that have got them, and some have had really awesome experiences, and others have had different, and they've all had different experience. I would say it was, I don't know why, but nobody ever had the same experience with that machine. But it was either awesome or really expensive to run. Some people said, which was supposed to be what it was supposed to save you was fuel and that sort of stuff. So look, I think the answer is in a hybrid, and it always will be. Because what you're doing is you're filling the void of two pros. You can take the best of the best and put them in those sweet envelopes where the other's lacking. So you find a perfect match is it can be, it might even be hydrogen. There'll be a whole range of things, but I can certainly say, in my opinion, electrification or even greenwashing by mining companies, I find quite obtuse, if you know what I mean. Shut up. You're not green. The companies aren't green. There's nothing about what we do is green. Sorry. No, There's never going to be clean coal. I'm sorry. Just put the words together. It doesn't even make sense. Stop trying to do that. Let's just focus on making the most efficient energy sources that we can. We'll move farther as an industry and as a global community too. When you see that sort of scaling of what it takes to feed 8 billion or what it takes to turn the lights on for them, it's a lot. So we have to keep us, make sure that we're doing the right ethically good, because we make a big hole every time we dig. So it's worth thinking about for the future.
Yeah.
What about you? Where do you think? What do you think about the electrification? I've seen you ask it a couple of times. Do you know something?
Yeah. No. Just it's interesting because like a few people went to Balma and they said there was a lot of electric machines.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
And then I don't know. But then I'm hearing a lot of skeptical things that people are like, it's not going to work. And maybe mining, like I interviewed Comiskey Mining Services the other day. He was saying in mining, they've already sort of started doing a lot of electrical stuff, and there's a lot of diesel electrics. Yeah. I don't know.
He was talking about the railway line systems that they had over in WA, and that I think there's one up. Scotty Litz was telling me that I think the other day, there's one in North Queensland somewhere. But those systems of hybridization, there's all sorts of. It would just find it's good engineering teams should be able to find that window that's lacking and be able to augment it with a hybridized system of any type, whether it's external where you just put your railway dolly up and it just grabs the power lines and you're way up the ramp, which is just sorts. That's a perfect example of dealing with just a window right there where you've got a small place where the trucks don't perform as well as you'd like, which is up that grind. So whack them on 240,000 volts and just watch them rocket up there. It's an amazing thing to watch, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's crazy how abstract we can get to finding solutions. So I look forward to it. I just love innovation. I love seeing real innovators do it for real reasons, not things like the Dyson fan and that. I'm just looking at that going, oh, come on. It's not really new. But, in our industry, there's been really breakaway technologies. IMC with its it's almost like abstract AI work in real time when I'm using it. And it's an amazing thing that the live data interaction when you're working is, it's one of those, just a good example of where we're going and fast. So bring it on.
Yeah, I even like when you talk about IMC and all that, intelligent machine control, guys, in case anyone's wondering what that is. That's a Komatsu thing. When I was using that D71, they were watching me on their mobile phone and giving me instructions from outside the machine. But they're actually watching my screen live and telling me, like, okay, here you go there.
Yeah, absolutely. Trimble's, it's actually quite easy to do it on a Trimble system as well. All you've got to do is have their app IP address and you can tap straight into the back door with that really easy.
Mm-hmm.
Those sort of innovations as far as maintenance and preventative maintenance, even better, they're great for our industry, and they just cut down resource use and also longevity of machinery. I think one thing I learned at CAT, there's no joke. Just take this, you can write this and take it to the bank. Do the servicing it tells you to. Stick to their preventive maintenance regimes. The companies that do it, especially right up to big places like Peak Downs and that, just have it such. You go there, mate. They've got dozers that are running at 140-something thousand plus hours. Yeah. Wow, still productive all 24 hours a day, just producing electricity for the world all day. And that I'll argue that's sustainability right there, mate. A D11, you wouldn't believe it. I'd run with that as a post on LinkedIn before. The D11 quite possibly might be one of the most sustainable machines ever designed by man. It's probably put the lights on in more people's houses across the world than any other. It's the most repairable. You just give it a quick shakedown in the workshop and send it back to work again with a new set of armor. And it's, man, I can't think of you go to Bunnings and look at what you buy from there. Third world crap, they're just dead within 12 months as part of the consumption cycle. A D11 is built to last, man. And I think we need more products like that. That's what we should aim at. So, Komatsu's got their own. Other brands have got them. It's just really focusing on, if you want sustainable, that's where it's at. You don't have to say you're going to run gas trucks in your coal miner and stuff like that. It's insane. Yeah. They're doing it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you love your dozers. What is your favorite machine to use?
Look, it's probably at the moment it's been the 71's been a real revolt. Well, the bendy blade. So most of my career was, I was a 16-year-old driving D11s. That was sort of where I had a Cubby station and there were 10Ls there, and then went next door and there was D11s and all that sort of stuff. So in that hard rock, and my body was ruined by 30, like bit of professional football, and then put that on top, hard rock dozing. There's nothing like watching the face of the new guy when he's shot at the D11 up in the hard rock in central Queensland, and the tracks out to the push, and they get in. He gets in the slot push, and within an hour, I could just see the blood have drained from his face, and the reality of what his life just became. Study hard, kids. Study at school, man. You don't have to stand smashing rocks up for the rest of your life and trying to shove them up a hill. It's hard work, I promise.
Yeah, that's it. Move to the music. Yeah, people know when I'm listening to something hard in the machine because I'm going fast. I'm just digging up.
Yep, you get in the zone, don't you? Yep, it's a
do.
wonderful place to be. If you're going to ask me, if you don't have a great radio in your machine for your operator, you're never going to get the hours that you should out of it. It's that one simple pleasure that you can give a bloke that you just will make the hours disappear a little bit quicker. Now we've got podcasts and stuff like that. So it's incredible to just like sit there and you learn stuff all day while you're doing it. And if you can get away from the two-way noise, all this stupid workplace health and safety stuff that's just white noise continuously. So if you can get around that and listen to something, you can have a bloody good day behind the sticks.
Yeah, that's it. And what about apart from go ahead.
I think I was going to say that I noticed on Seek that bulldozers or machinery operating is one of the highest job satisfaction ratings of all employments. So that's an interesting thing. Yeah, I feel a little bit of that. I'd say looking around my workmates, yep, there's an element of that. So, yeah, that's a good sell for us. That's a great sell when we go to the schools and try and get kids to come back on board. I think most of them just don't get to see the inside of a machine anymore. So that's what I'm trying to do, start producing stuff that, I bought that 360 camera, which is hopefully going to do just a little bit more and see, maybe other kids are like, I just want to see inside your machine and see what you do. So anybody's out there who's making content that I watch, that's what you got to do for me. Just walk up your stairs like it's you, put me in first person and jump in the seat, show me all the buttons because that's what I like. And you make a great content. I think that's how you can get it. It's just as simple as that. Actually giving them an option instead of boring old coding, which AI just wiped out totally those jobs. It's a good safe place to be. Plumber or whatever, or dirty hands and clean money. Still, it's going to be the way.
Yep. That's it. I was going to ask you before. Apart from a dozer, what other machine would be your next favorite?
I think Reese gave me a bit of a try on his 360 bucketed next gen the other day, a couple of months ago, and I have to say I could spin that bucket all day, man. That's just the coolest thing. That just like all those extra buttons that you get now is just I want more time on it because that's exactly my brain's already wired for that. I'm ready to go and just like spin the bucket and get it. Excuse the concentration look on my face, but those ones in the corner where where you get around. Nobody's using shovels around me. I'm not picking up anything for the rest of my life. You give me one of those machines, so I think that probably next on the list. I used to like graders, but I think that. Sorry, Troy, if you're watching, mate, but I think those bendy blade dozers that get them every day of the week, 6-way blades are really tearing up in the civil world because because they'll do the extra job of being able to shift material more efficiently. That most of that material is going within the 150 meter range on the civil job, right in the sweet spot for a dozer. It originally was done. Those jobs would, we used to have little mini scrapers, 613s, and that following around graders, picking up windrows, and then the 6-way blade, the VPAT stuff come in. And really just stop that. I haven't seen an old 613 bumming around doing that for ages. But they were just running a short dirt somewhere around the site, just those pickups. And now the dozer can do it like so efficiently. A big thing about the 71 is having multiple surfaces to work with. You can work progressively through the job without having to change your map. So that's a huge advantage. There's one place in machinery in dozers that you lose money, and that's in reverse steam. Every time you put it in R, there's no win there. There's nothing you can do in that R that, actually, no, it has got a reverse grading key, but outside of backblading, there's nothing. Moving forward and having that shiny bit of cutting edge in the ground, that's payday. That's payday. And the only place that you ever make money on a dozer. So you can literally cut, you don't have to back every time. Sometimes you can just keep going on and, if you got your cut and fill map on, you can just bounce from one bit to, one cut to one fill, find the next closest one and keep it in a continuous motion. That's a real advantage nowadays to what we do on sites when you look at the meterage that we're shifting dirt and the quantities that spin is shifted in the chessboard. The grader's probably lost out quite significantly. I don't really see many graders, never see a grader on the sites I'm on with a bendy blade anymore because you can take up most of that work. So I like everything, but mate, to be honest with you, I will drive everything. Just not, I haven't got a shovel ticket. That's about it. I still think manual labour's a Spanish tennis player, so that's what I reckon. I'm sticking to that. He said, hey, look, no, it wasn't him I was talking about. No. Good on you, Troy. Thanks, mate. I was just saying, oh, darn.
Oh, jeez. He must have heard something. He's
Yeah,
like,
I think he's on. I think he probably got 50 phone calls on his shoe phone. That's what's happened. He's got straight. He's got Starlink and he's bloody 24. He's just rocking away down the haul road. Next thing he's shivering. That Duffman's talking shit about your grader. Yeah.
boy, he's having a laugh. Can you see the comments as well?
Oh, I can. I just,
Yeah.
I'm going blind, so I didn't want to put glasses on. So I'm sort of just tapering. I got to a bit in my life where I just sort of, I'm ready for a big change. You know, I've got to a place where I'm just doing the freelance stuff, really intensively looking at machinery and learning, putting myself in the learner. I'm ready to start traveling the world. So we're going to move out of Brizzy. I'm just selling up in town and going to move up the Sunshine Coast permanently with Jane. And then it's tackle the world. I want to go and start going into people's places and maybe get the YouTube thing happening finally. So we've had a couple of goes at things like Top Gear for tractors and stuff like that but sort of COVID killed that off. We got so close and we're literally ready to start filming. You know, got the contracts happening and everything was good to go, but COVID shut us down. So I'm going back on that choo-choo train. I want to just go and explore. How can I go and have the rest of my life fun and just get around and do some philanthropic sort of work where good things come out of what we're doing with having fun and getting around and the world and catching up with people who know what the hell they're talking about, just people you want to go and find out about. So also going to regular Joe's place and staying in contact with that all the time. So, you know, that's another important thing I like doing around the jobs, just making sure that everybody's just a guy with one or two machines is just important. And there are millions of them, you know, and they're all just battling away. And like, I'll do it. If I can, I always try and do a video for them while I'm there. And just to give them a little bit, hey man, I love what you do. You got something, you know, if they've got something special that really sticks out to me, you know, I'll go and film it because I think they deserve that. There's no media for them. And I got this stupid little talent that I ground out with, you know, filming stuff and I'm happy to share it. It's just that's another place I get that beautiful experience with people from and just that connection and sharing. And the coolest thing is if you just cut the money thing out of it, you know, this whole wealth of stuff, this other plethora of goodness comes at you that's so worth it. So, you know, if I can give any advice to people at the moment, it's a difficult place to be in the world as a battler. You know, somebody who's on the ground working. We're all in together, and there's absolute safety in numbers. There's power in numbers. And what I would say is on this social media stuff, if you call it social media, it's really corporate media. But while we've got the opportunity, get your voice out there. It's really, if we didn't learn through COVID, I thought it was going to go way worse for me on social media. It was the opposite. My people got tighter because we were truthful and we just got open about it. And I realized then how powerful it is and how the major networks have lost that grip on because they're too busy bullshitting and making everything plastics. Let's get together and I encourage people with the skills who don't, you know, I see them out there, they're tickling away, getting closer to making more content, but just get out there and make a quick little video on this is what I know and this is my little bit of the world. And I bet you there's a young dude or a girl out there somewhere who's going to grab that and go, thank God that I learned that. Hey, he's just the same as me. There you go.
Yeah, that one. Oh man, I'll tell you what, you don't fall for these comments. Sometimes we get carried away with them. That's true.
All good.
Oh yeah,
As good as I take it, Ivan.
That's it, man. That's it. Now, look, like I said, you're a man with a wealth of knowledge, a lot of experience. Like I said, everyone I talk to always mentions, you know, anything I talk about, ask the Duff man, ask him.
That's so cool. Everybody, like I love that world too, mate. And they're my peeps, like they're my family. I spend more time there thinking about that than I do in my own world or my own life. So, yeah, that's cool. I don't complain about it a bit. It's just the way it goes for me. It's become it's a lifestyle, you know, and it's just something we do. In my world, it's all day, every day. I come home from work and we're still doing work. You know, I don't care. I love it. I'm not even getting sick of it. So all I need is more people who are passionate like it that I get to connect with, and that's empowering, and it just keeps me full of energy and vital, and make me want to get to work every day, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's it. It's the passion and energy. You can see it in you. You can hear it in your voice. The way you are.
Yeah.
That's it, man. And you know what? In our industry, you have to be. You do.
Yep, it's a tough job, and it's repetitive, and it's in a hole away from everybody, and it's out of sight and mind. And the people who run that hole like it like that because they control what the message from the hole is. And quite often that message that's coming from their end of it is different to what the reality of it is. I've found it pretty liberating to be able to get to a bit where, I don't get hassled so much about filming. I'm so glad. Thank you to everybody who's running sites who lets me film there. So we're not doing anything. We're not trying to expose anybody. We're just sharing and celebrating each other, and it's a really cool thing. It's uplifting for all the people around us. We'll high five each other, and we just get bigger and better connections. And next time, I'll see them on another job. That's the best thing about this industry is treat everybody with respect, because you can run into them again. They're going to turn up, and those toes you tread on are going to be connected to the bum you got to kiss one day. So don't mess that around, man.
That is the best saying. I've seen that once. Someone, I think it was someone that we knew, had like all little like stickers like that in their toilet. So when you close the door, it's on the back of the toilet. So when you
Yep,
and that
yep.
was one of them. Yeah, the toes. Yeah.
Legend. And so very, very proud to get a go on your show. And g'day to everybody who came and had a listen. And if you're all still awake, you've been amazing. And we'll see you on the next dig.
That's it, man. Thank you. Thanks again for joining us. What a legend.
Thanks,
man.
buddy.
Thank you. I'll let you log out, and then I'll say goodbye to everyone, man.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
See you, man.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Gone.
That's it. There, he's gone. There you go. Guys, hopefully you can still hear me. A big shout out to the Duffman. Thank you very much for joining me on this show. He is a wealth of knowledge. I'll tell you what, the guy knows everything. We did skip around a little bit then. I was so excited. I didn't even know what questions to ask him next. And obviously you can see he loves to have a bit of a chat too. So we did skip around a bit, but we got there. And you know what? I don't think it's going to be the last time. I reckon he's a legend. We'll have him on again. If anyone wants me to ask him any other questions, now let me know, even for the next one. Or if you want to be a guest, also hit me up. Or if you know someone else that might be a really good guest, do that. We've got lots happening. Very, 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 very jam-packed. From here till Christmas, it's basically jam-packed. So there's going to be heaps. The Duffman saying you people are awesome. Thank you. He's still listening. He's still throwing in comments from the side. What a legend. Someone saying what a Sunday sermon that was. Yeah, that's it, man. These are the Sunday church sermon sessions, man. I love it. And I love everyone that joins us here, especially all the regulars, man. It's good to see all the same people coming back. So we're doing something right. And to all the new people as well, welcome. And yeah, make sure you follow Earthworks Hub on all the platforms. So I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, Apple. Also, go onto our Patreon group. So if you want to be a little bit more involved and you want to connect with a lot of people in the industry, go to our Patreon page, which is the Earthworks Hub Club, and you can join, and for a small monthly fee you can join in and join all the chat groups, helping each other out. You can also, once you do become a member, you also get a free listing on our website. So there's a business directory on the website where everyone can advertise their businesses and everyone can use your services. So become a Patreon member and then you get a free listing. If you don't want to be a Patreon member, just go and do one of the listings on the website. What else? I think I've spoken a fair bit tonight. Everyone's keen to go to work, including myself tomorrow. So probably keen to go and I should rephrase that. We're not keen to go to work. We're all keen to go to bed for work tomorrow. But yeah, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you very much for joining us here every Sunday, 8 p.m. on Instagram. Otherwise, I do go live during the week while I'm working as well. So look out for those little live sessions. And Bulovich Mining, how you going? And also, we have random guests that I interview throughout the week as well. So heaps going on, man, heaps going on. Thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to everyone that joined us tonight. And we'll see you on the next episode. Hey, did you know that Earthworks Hub is more than just a podcast? On our website, you can advertise your business in the directory, see the latest news, and get discounts from our partners. You can also become a member on our Patreon, where you'll enjoy podcasts with video, exclusive content and behind the scenes, webinars, and chat with other members in the forums. For more info, go to www.earthworkshub.com.au.
Yeah.
For track service on the lot.
He became steel resistant.